Peace, everyone. Today is September the 6th, 2023. My name is Jasmine, and this is my journal. I know I'm not put together, and usually I don't do camera, but somebody remarked that I hadn't been on camera in a while. So I'm here. I'm here. I just got off of work. Um, Everything's been good for me. Work has been a little bit challenging, challenged with staffing and, stuff like that. But one thing I've learned about dealing with conflict at work is to always stay calm. So whenever I'm dealing with somebody that's difficult, whether it be a family member or a patient or anything like that, I always take some deep breaths, because sometimes when people are very angry or upset, when they see you calm, they tend to calm down a little bit. So staying calm has been a strong suit, and honestly, having the ability to remain calm and peaceful and respectful is one of the things that kind of got me in this position and got me as far as I've gotten. I just know how to deal with um, people. I wouldn't call them difficult, but people who are angry or have difficult times. I've developed that over years. Y'all know my story. I've had all types of abusive situations. I've been through them all, and I've learned that you can de-escalate a lot of things by remaining calm. And when people, want to vent and get upset, as long as I don't feel like they're gonna hit me, I'll sit there calmly. I did almost have to call security earlier, but I told the young lady nicely, like, look, I'm about to call security. It's all right. We made it through. Um, Hopefully, it's just a bad day. Well, I wouldn't even call it a bad day. It's just a day. I woke up feeling really good, actually. I was just like, whoo, good day. Let's see. My love life is great. The guy from out of town, like, we're close. We're getting closer. I haven't seen him in 2 weeks, but um, I get to see him this weekend. So I'm going to drive up there to him because he's taking me to a birthday party. So I'm going to leave Friday after work. So I'm excited about that. And then a week after that, he is taking me to a nice formal date. So I got to find me a nice, pretty dress to wear to that. He's wearing a suit. So I'm excited about that. And then at the end of the month or next month, we flew out. We're going to Orlando. So as far as my love life, I'm happy with. Yeah, I'm happy with the way things are going right now. I don't have any complaints. None at all. But I was talking to a friend, and we were talking about how sometimes walking away from people can be an act of self-love, but it can also be an act of love for that other person. Because sometimes people form attachments to us, and when they form attachments to us, is very hard for them to heal in that space, because they become codependent on you, or vice versa, you become codependent on them. So sometimes breaking away or walking away is actually an act of love. If that person is attaching to you, kind of pulling away allows them the space to heal. And if you have an attachment to that person, pulling away allows you the space to heal. I think sometimes, and I only speak from experience. Sometimes, or most of the time, we depend on people and things outside of ourselves to make us happy. And we become codependent on those emotions and those feelings that we receive from other people. And most of the time, they're not always lasting, especially when you're in relationships. You're not always gonna be happy. You have problems. Your partner is gonna get on your nerves. You're gonna get on your partner nerves. You know what I mean? But being codependent on that person for all of your emotions, or to feel good or to feel better, is just a recipe for disaster. So when I talked to my friend, I had to talk to her about not feeling guilty about having to pull away from a situation because it wasn't working for her. Because sometimes relationships like that can become draining. You know, Relationships can have hard times, they can have ups and downs, but they shouldn't be draining all the time. It's just, if it's draining you all the time, if y'all always arguing, it's not right, and some people find comfort in that type of toxicity. They really do. But it's just not a healthy situation to be in. And that's what's been on my mind. What's been on my mind is fostering a healthy environment and healthy relationships. And that goes for friendships too. Fostering these healthy friendships where we can communicate and talk, because friendships are relationships. So just learning how to deal with conflicts, because you have conflicts with your friends just like you have conflicts with your spouse, and how to sit down and analyze the part that you play in these conflicts. Like, is it me, or is it that person, or what it is, or what's the issue, what's causing this person to be triggered or hurt or anything like that. I think that learning to be self-aware is what truly helps me when it comes to friendships and relationships. And I've grown so much. Hell, I've grown so much over the past year. I feel like I've matured so much over the past year in therapy, and kind of looking at myself and doing what I would call mirror work, which is just kind of sitting with myself and taking accountability for some of my actions and how I move, and understanding the source of some of my issues. Like, what triggers me? What's the source of some of these triggers? That's all a part of, this is popular term shadow work. Everybody wants to talk about shadow work on TikTok. They're ordering this shadow work journal or whatever. And it's crazy because people want to do shadow work till they start it, and they don't understand that with shadow work, you risk being rehurt again, because you have to revisit those areas. And shadow work is not easy. It's not an overnight process. Hell, I'm still doing shadow work, and I'm still unfolding things within myself and finding things about myself that I'll be like, ugh, bitch, you ever had like one of those moments where you look at yourself like, girl, you ain't shit. You ain't shit. Why you do that? It's just, I still be having those moments. So, that's what I've been doing. I've been loving life, enjoying life, being happy, and shadow working. But at the end of the day, I'm learning to stay in a place of neutrality. I'm just neutral. Um, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I'm too happy or too sad. I always try to stay in the middle. You know what I'm saying? In the middle of things. Because when you get too happy, then you begin to expect too much, and then you get hurt, or you get upset when things don't look the way you feel like they should look. So I think that all of these lessons I have been learning lately with shadow work is, number one, take accountability for my bullshit. Number two, remaining neutral with everything. Don't be too much of something or too little of something. Try your best to find middle ground with things. And also, I'm learning to watch my words. It slips out, like it slipped out a few minutes ago. I try not to say I had a good day or a bad day. I just had a day. And the day is always going to be a day. Things happen during days, and it's okay to not like things that happen today. Like today, I can't say I had a good or a bad day. I woke up feeling great. I felt good today. Had a good conversation with my boo before I went to bed. Got to kiss my babies good night. Man, I cooked a good meal yesterday. I fried some fish, made some red beans and rice and some cornbread, and oof. Everybody in my house was giving me high five, like high five, high five, high five. Yeah, I was like, that meal was just milling. The spices was on point. You ever made that meal where the spices just be on point? The spices was on point. It wasn't too salty. It wasn't under seasoned. It was just pow. So I did. So I made my meal, went to bed, talked to my boo. I'm watching Flash right now. He watches Supergirl. We kind of corny, so we be comparing notes on the different shows. He's got me in DC. I'm usually a Marvel fan, but he's got me in the DC. So we talk about our geeky stuff about the planets and stuff, which I don't know much about, but I pretend to know. Shh. I mean, I know what Jupiter doing, but that's about all I know. I know my chart. You know, talked a little bit about numerology, talked a little bit about future plans. It was a good conversation. I went to sleep, had a good dream, woke up feeling good. Like I went to bed early, so I got all my hours of sleep. You wake up feeling good, like yeah. Was about to go downstairs and make my coffee, and then my phone rang. It was work. Issues at work. And boy, were there issues at work. I came to work to one, two, three, four different families complaining, a disgruntled employee, two disgruntled employees, um, lack of supplies, a few sick, acutely ill patients. It was just a day. But then I came home. I took a nap. I had a wonderful session with my mentee student, and I'm here talking to y'all. I'm going to leave here in a few minutes and go pick up my daughter and take her to work because she works third shift. And then I'm going to come home, talk to my best friend a little bit, talk to my boo, and then go to sleep. You see how one day just had its ups and downs, and I stayed calm throughout the whole day. I did good. Let me give myself a pat on the back because any of that I probably would have cussed somebody out or knocked everything off the desk, and I did. My boss was like, "You as calm as a cucumber. I don't see how you do it." I'm looking at her like, look, well, him. I'm looking at him. His name is Mark. He's a nice man. I'm like, look, Mark, I don't know how I do it either. It's how the spiritual work, this deep breathing exercises and meditating. That's what's helping me stay cool as a cucumber. Because the old jazz would have broke all that shit up and quit. The police would have been escorting me to my car or to jail. So I've evolved. But that's basically all I want to talk about. I haven't really given an entry lately. I've been caking. So I'm back on it. He brought it to my attention. He's like, so what you been doing? You've been doing your podcast? And I'm like, no, I've actually been on somebody else's podcast, but I need to get back on mine. So I think soon I'll be ready to open up to have some more guests back on. I think it was good when I had some guests on and asked them about themselves. So now I got to hear about me all the time. So just to sum things up, shadow work is hard, but it's worth it. It pays off. It's very healing. Therapy is good. If you need a therapist, see one. Try not to form too many attachments. Quit having expectations out of people. Expectations don't get you nothing but let down. Expect people to be themselves. Separating from somebody sometimes is an act of love. And letting people go is an act of love. I know we've all been in a situation where somebody wanted to break up with us. Oh, hell no, you're about to break up with me? You are not about to break up with me. Let them go. And wish them the best. And whatever else I talked about, because I forgot that quickly. So with that being said, I love you all. Have a good evening. Don't forget to love on yourself every day. And that means making choices that are best for you. Your mental health, your spiritual health, and your emotional health, and your physical health. Y'all see I'm slimming down? Because I've been making better eating choices. I've been eating healthy, y'all. Because I have made my emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual health number one. And I just started eating healthier just to clear my mind, clear my body, detox my body. But the weight is just naturally falling off. But it's falling off slowly. But I'm starting to notice inches. My uniforms and my clothes are too big. You know what I mean? People are noticing, like, Jazz, you slimmed down. I'm like, yeah, I did. I did. So, with that being said, have a good evening. Peace.